What's up, guys? Jack by DFS. It's here finally. NBA season. First slate of the NBA season is upon us. It's welcoming to see, and so glad it's here. We've got the LA Lakers versus the Clippers, and we've got the Nets against the Golden State Warriors. Um, Two great matchups. Two of the supreme. I expect all four of these teams most likely in the playoffs this year. Should be very exciting, and should be very exciting and very intriguing games to kind of give us an idea of what the teams look like. They've made some interesting changes this season. Uh, we've seen the Lakers get better. If that we thought that was possible, but it's obviously they obviously made the team better. I think they're on hype to be the favorites to win the championship again this year. And the Clippers, kind of the same, added some shooting with Luke Kennard, and had some different pieces. We've seen Harold go to the Lakers, as well as Golden State, added Oubre, and things like that. They got Wiseman in the draft. And then with Brooklyn, we're actually going to finally see that pairing of Irving and Durant that's been long anticipated this season. So moving on, we're going to look at point guards. We're going to look player position by position. Obviously, we're going to give you a deep look at both sides. It's a 2-game slate, so we'll go a little bit deeper than we normally would. If it's like a 7 to 11 game slate or something crazy like that, then obviously we do like a top 5. But that's kind of the way I'm going to trigger it this season. But since it's a 2-game slate, we'll look at it a little bit more in depth just because it's going to be only a 2-game slate. Obviously, goes without saying, LeBron James is in play. His usage rate is through the roof, 45 and 42% usage over the course of, that's mainly preseason. It could be even a little higher than that. We know he controls pretty much when he's on the floor. He's a big part of the offense. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Some people will argue best player in NBA history. I'm still, even though I'm a Duke fan, I am a Michael Jordan fan. Even though I'm a Duke fan, but I do side still Michael Jordan being the Blaze. Versus the other. That argument could go on for days, but I just think it was a different competition back then. Not the crybaby league that it is so much now. And guys did a little bit more grind to score back then. Nonetheless, guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button. It allows you to see the videos that come out pretty frequently. My name is Doug. I'm with Jackpot DFS. That's the name of the channel. If you guys are back for another video, welcome. This is the NBA video. I did put out the NFL Showdown video a little bit earlier. But we're excited to have some NBA action. Getting back, LeBron James, the myth, the man, the legend, should be in play. He is a pricey, but $9,600 for LeBron James, I think, is a decent price. Most of the time, we're going to see him in the $10,000 range, but could be a must play at that price tomorrow. Moving down, Steph Curry in the point guard consideration. Obviously, the usage rate is going to be high for him. He was hurt most of the season last season, so do expect Curry to go back to being the Curry we know. We know they're not going to have some of their players. I know Draymond's already been ruled out. He's got a foot injury, so we do expect some high usage rate for Curry. And could be a big game for him tomorrow. It's kind of hard to pay attention to some of these defensive rankings and things like that. We'll have to get into the season a little bit more before we know what kind of team we're facing, how they're going to be on defense, offense, etc. So we'll just kind of go through the progressions here. But last 3 games against Brooklyn, Curry has been absolutely amazing against them. A 69, a 57, and a 53 the last 3 games. So expect a shootout, especially against Irving. He's going to want to play well. That ownership right now is looking at 25%. I expect that to go up. He's a lock and load for me tomorrow. I think he's a must play at that position for me. Moving down to Kyrie Irving, the next guy I like on the slate tomorrow. goes to his own right. He's a great player as well. Last 4 games against Golden State: a 35, a 49, a 60, and a 47. Great games for Kyrie against Golden State Warriors. Moving down, some other guys you consider on the slate tomorrow: Spencer Dinwiddie. Last 5 games against Golden State, he had a 40, a 28, a 15, and a 27, and a 20. Next guy I like is Dennis Schroeder. Now, he is going into a new role this year with the Lakers, so I do believe he'll start at point guard. 46, 26, 47, and a 17 against the Clippers the last 4 out of the 5 games. And a couple other guys that I like tomorrow is Lou Williams. Lou Williams is that spark energy guy that comes off the bench, the 6th man. He will not have his partner in crime, Harrell. He'll be on the other side this season. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of works out. I guess he'll get more of Zubac. I'm anticipating this season. But some small consideration for like a Patrick Beverley. I think Schroeder and Lou Williams and things like that would be a better play personally than Patrick Beverley will, although he can go off in games. I like that you're only paying $1,000 more to get Lou Williams. He's more that playmaker. Patrick Beverley's a more defensive-minded guy, and the usage rate is just going to be through the roof when Lou Williams is out there. And I like him a little bit more for $1,000 more. Schroeder at another 400 plus, another 1,400. I think is a consideration as well. So kind of pick your poison with those guys. For me, probably top 3 is probably LeBron, Curry, and Irving. And then if you need to save some salary, you can kind of go down with these other guys. You could go with a Reggie Jackson. He's going to probably play some of that 6-man too. Not my favorite play. I'm going to kind of stick with these other guys. I think if I'm going to come down and pay a cheap guy, it's probably going to be Brad Wanamaker. I just think he's going to get more run because obviously they're shorthanded with their guards and shorthanded due to injuries. I think Brad Wanamaker could be a nice value play to help you get some salary relief to get to those other guys, the top tier guys. And he's played well against Brooklyn. He's had an 18, a 21, a 28, a 18, and a 32. Brad Wanamaker is probably my cheap value play at point guard tomorrow to save you some salary. Moving on to shooting guards. Obviously, we got Leonard and George leading the category there. Neither one of these guys have played exceptionally well against the Lakers. As you can see, he has played better in the beginning, but they're obviously in play. They're going to bring it against the Lakers. I do think if I'm going to side with one of these two, I'm probably going to go Paul George just for the savings. You're talking about 9,100 versus 7,800. Their usage rate is generally about the same. So for me, I'll probably go more Paul George. But last 5 games against the Lakers for Kawhi Leonard, 62, a 32, a 46, a 19, and a 16. For Paul George, has been a 33, a 51, a 47, a 14, and an 18. So two of the better plays for me. Paul George probably to save you some salary there. He's going to generally play about the same amount of minutes. His usage rate is about the same as Leonard. So for me, just to get the salary relief is probably going to be Paul George. A couple of these guys that's going to probably have to step up, especially with Golden State, with them being low. With that, they're going to be without Draymond Green. They're going to be without Klay Thompson this season. So you're going to have to expect somebody else to step up to kind of play good for that team outside of Curry. Andrew Wiggins could be that guy that steps into that role this season. Last 4 games that he played against Brooklyn, he had a 33, a 29, a 17, and a 31. Could step into a bigger role this season, considering they're going to need him to step up and play more consistently this season. Another guy to like is Chris Leverk. Now, it's hard to say how much that usage is going to be used for Durant, how much that's going to hurt Leverk, how they're going to share the ball and all that kind of stuff. We're going to have to wait and kind of see with that. However, Leverk has been exceptionally good over the past few years, and he's been really good against Golden State. He's had a 29, a 24, a 38, a 6, and a 40. At $6,500 price, that's not bad. That's about what you want. So one of the better players in this position tomorrow. Again, you can play Lou Williams and some of these other guys from the point guard role and small shooting guard if you choose to go that route, which I do like Lou Williams at shooting guard tomorrow as well. However, you're going to have a couple other guys that you could see in that role. You could also use a Dennis Schroeder in that role as well at shooting guard. Another guy to mention that not kind of wait and see approach with not knowing his role and how that's going to play in with Durant and Kyrie Irving playing this season is Joe Harris. Now he's been really good against Golden State as well. 7, 14, 15, 31, and 32. At $4,800 price, I think he's a nice play at that salary. And then you've got a guy like Bruce Brown who's probably going to have to play a little bit this season and step into that role. They'll be looking for guys to step up and play good role in that Golden State offense, considering Klay Thompson not being able to play this season, etc. Bruce Brown at $3,700. He's had a 6, a 6, and a 29 against Golden State in the past. And then Damian Lee, also you're going to look at, is going to be one of those guys that come off the bench for Golden State. Look to see what he can do as well. He's had some big games in the past when those guys were hurt last season. But kind of see with the Curry being back how that's going to play out. Not one of my favorite plays, neither is Bruce Brown. In this kind of range for shooting guard, I think I'll go with Lou Williams is probably some of my favorite play in this position if you're going to pay down. A guy like KCP Pope at 4,200 is a nice play also off the bench. We've seen him go off in some games. The last 5 games against the Clippers, 24, 12, 12, 0, and a 33. One of my favorite plays. And one of those other guys that's new to the Clippers, Luke Hannard, we don't know exactly what we're going to get from him this season. He is going to provide some shooting off the bench. He has had a 22, a 10, a 16, and a 7. So I do expect a expanded role from him. He can go off some games, and he's probably going to not do much for you coming in some games as well this season. So for me in shooting guard, it's probably KCP, most likely Joe Harris, Lou Williams, Schroeder, Jared Leverk, Wiggins, probably Paul George most likely for me to give you some of that salary relief at 7,800, and then obviously Kawhi Leonard. Moving on to small forward, obviously you can play LeBron James in either point guard or small forward. Look, Kawhi Leonard, obviously some of these guys are going to be in the same field here. But moving on to some guys we haven't mentioned, Kelly Oubre could be one of those guys that they expect to step up this season for Golden State. Like I mentioned before, they're going to be able to out Klay Thompson. They're going to need some other people to step up, and Kelly Oubre could be that spark that they need to go along with Curry. At 6,700, I don't know. It's kind of hit or miss. I think if you're going to pay that, for me, it's still kind of Paul George. But considering that they're not allowing, I guess they're not allowing you to use Paul George in a small forward spot, which is kind of wrong to me. But I think for me, it's probably Andrew Wiggins over Oubre right now at the moment. Although both of those guys in play, Jared Leverk, Joe Harris, obviously you can play those guys in small forward. Kyle Kuzma is kind of one of those guys where they just re-signed him. He kind of plays different in the regular season. I know he looked good in preseason. We're still kind of looking for that baby boy to grow up, kind of in Kyle Kuzma. I know he can be good, but sometimes he just kind of falls off the map in the regular season. So I consider him in play, but it's kind of in that no man's land, not kind of knowing what you're going to get out of Kyle Kuzma. I'm probably going to lay off him and see kind of what he does first. But a couple guys I do like is a guy that can provide some spark as well is like a guy like Kent Bazemore, 4,300. He's had some nice games against Brooklyn. He had a 40, a 0, a 9, and a 10. KCP still at $4,200. I think you could very well get big, and if you want to play like a Durant, play a big guy, expensive big guy, plus like LeBron James or one of those guys, save yourself some salary, and you could play like a Schroeder in small guard or shooting guard and play KCP in the small forward role if you wanted to. It's going to be hard to get different, but I think that's one of the ways you can go and kind of pay up at point guard and pay up at utility for another guard, like another point guard, and then go cheaper with some of these other guys who are going to get you some little bit salary saving. Don't waste your time with Nick Bynum or any of these other. I know Horton Tucker was kind of a big surprise this preseason, but in the beginning of the season, he's not going to get much run. It's kind of hard to know what they're kind of going to do with him, but I think they were shocked themselves to see how good he played. So the rest of these guys, I'm probably not going to mess with at all. Jared Dudley, he's probably going to not get any playing time, and if he does, it's going to be for a couple minutes. I'm not going to waste my time with these other guys tomorrow. Moving on to power forward, start getting a little interesting. Anthony Davis, obviously in play. He's been a monster against the Clippers. 43 of 49 out of 49. He's obviously in play tomorrow. Another guy with a revenge narrative is Harrell. He's only 5,300. I know he's going to play that backup role, but he'll see plenty of playing time. I think you just go ahead and settle up. You can go ahead and play him for some salary relief. 34, 37, and 42. Taran Prince. Don't know quite what his role is going to be this season, but I think at 3,900, that's a pretty good save, and I think that's a lock and load if you want to play him. I'm a little bit surprised that he's not in the small forward category. I think they kind of screwed up that there. But I think he's obviously in play. 28, a 38, a 34, a 22, and a 21. This guy is going to be a lock and load play tomorrow as well. He should get plenty of playing time. Obviously, I mentioned earlier that you're going to have Draymond Green out with a foot injury, so that should be in a role for a start for Pascal tomorrow at 3,900 or 3,800. Excuse me. I think that's a lock and load play, easy cash play tomorrow. And then obviously the man who we've been waiting on to see in the Brooklyn Nets uniform, Kevin Durant, should be primed to have a nice game against Golden State. Another revenge game narrative with him returning to play Golden State. Should be a nice game to watch tomorrow, and I expect a big game out of him. As far as some of these other guys, I'm not going to really dip too hard. I think you get a lot of value with Pascal, a lot of value with Taran Prince. I think you just go ahead and play those guys. I don't want to waste my time with any of these other guys. They're not going to get much playing time and not perform. I think it's really easy in power forward position. Anthony Davis. I'm not going to waste my time playing Oubre at power forward. I think you just go Anthony Davis, Harrell, Pascal, Durant, and even you can go down with a Kyle Kuzma if you want to do that at small forward. I just think it's really easy at power forward to make your decision up tomorrow. Not too hard to decide on that tomorrow. Moving on to centers. For me, obviously, Harrell and Davis are also able to use in this spot. I think those guys are viable. On the side of Brooklyn, these guys kind of split the playing time. I think for me, it's probably DeAndre Jordan. Jared Allen likes to foul a lot, and he does get in foul trouble. For me, I think DeAndre Jordan's a safer play, a little bit cheaper as well. Last five for DeAndre Jordan, he's 46 of 30, a 55 of 37, and a 17. So pretty solid production. Where Allen has had 11, a 7, a 26, a 20, and a 24. I think the easy call there, if you're deciding between a net center, is easy DeAndre Jordan for me tomorrow. Could expect some big games from Serge Ibaka this year. I know he's kind of been lackluster when he played for the Raptors, but I really like him, and I think he could really, really play well with the Clippers. I think he looked really good in preseason, and he's unexpected. Look good at 5,200. I think he's a nice play. I think you could easily play him tomorrow. Not going to waste my time with Marc Gasol. He's not going to produce. I know he looked pretty good, and he has some raves about how he looked with them over there. But I do not care for Marc Gasol. I think he's just old. He just needs to, older. And he's just probably at best for me, a backup player. I'm not going to be playing any Marc Gasol tomorrow. I think you get plenty of value. Should be pretty easy to make a pretty strong lineup tomorrow with the savings you get there. Small forward and shooting guard. I think you just play that value there and pay up at all these other positions and make it easy on yourself. But as far as the outlook for what it looks like for Golden State, James Wiseman is expected to play, but he didn't play any of the preseason. I don't expect him to get a lot of run. I don't even know if he'll start. I think for me it's Kevin Looney most likely that'll get the start. They may even go smaller and play like a Oubre Wiggins kind of thing, and go Pascal at the 5. It's kind of hard to know, but James Wiseman, we're all excited to see what he looks like. But the problem is he hasn't played. He's in COVID protocol right now, and we don't know what to expect. So yes, 4,900 is a nice price, but I don't expect him to get a ton of run. I don't know what his stamina is right now with not playing any preseason games. Kind of hard to touch that one. So like again, I think you just pay up and just pay up and just leave that one alone tomorrow, and just make it, just go easy on yourself and just take, I think, Anthony Davis, DeAndre Jordan, Harrell, Ibaka, and Pascal are probably my guys as bigs that I like the most. And you could dibble dabble with some Allen if you want to or whatnot, but even Marcus Chris, he could see some playing time at the center as well. Kind of hard to know before their starting lineups come out, but I do anticipate them going maybe small ball and playing like a Pascal at the 5, and maybe doing something like that tomorrow, and kind of sliding some Wiseman in off the bench. I don't anticipate him starting only because we haven't seen him. We don't know what to expect, and I don't think his game speed is up to where it needs to be. So, guys, that's the NBA video for the 2-game slate tomorrow. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys do well in your Monday night slate tonight. And keep listening, guys. We're going to keep pounding out these videos. Anything you guys want to hear about or want to add to the videos, please let me know. Hope you guys are having a great start to your week. Remember, you can try Draft Dashboard for 30 days. It's in the description of the video. You guys can find, especially with NBA season, it makes it so damn easy to find this research, especially with the NBA season. It gets a little bit more complicated, and you want these stats and you want this research so you can try to make the best lineups you can to put yourself in a prime position to take down these GPPs, etc. As well, guys, I'll link my Twitter handle down there in the description of the video as well. If you're not following me over there, jump on that and follow me over there so you guys can get the up-to-news date, injury news, some NBA. Sometimes before lock they can switch things up. Always pay attention to that stuff so you can adjust your lines and things like that. But anyway, guys, hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you soon. Most likely going to see you again for the next NBA slate, and then we'll see you for our Christmas showdown slate between the Vikings and Saints soon. See you guys. Goodbye.